Morning, how are you?
JB, thanks so much for having us on your farm.
Not at all, thank you.
It's lovely to meet you.
You too.
So, talk me through, you know, how long have you been here?
Well, I've had this farm for about 4 years now, 4.5 years. And I kind of made the decision to, I guess, step into farming about 2 years ago.
So, talk me through, what animals have you got here?
Well, this is Ginger, which is my first pig, and she sort of started off the whole
I wonder
thing.
how you came up with that name.
And Ginger's recently had, well, she's had 2 litters. This is her second litter. She just had 5 piglets. And I've got 2 other sows, and they've had litters of 6 and 7. Yeah. So the herd
quite
is growing.
A lot. Where are the other sows then? Can we go and see them?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And how was your first experience of, say, going out to go and find the mate for Ginger? Was that new, novel? It was,
and I sort of dabbled with artificial insemination, and obviously I didn't really know anybody who had Tamworths, and I wanted to keep my herd quite clean and keep the breed the same. So I wanted to try and find a Tamworth, and they're a rare breed in themselves, so it was quite difficult to try and get hold of a
I think they want to be on camera.
I think they do.
They're being a bit noisy. Was there a particular reason why you picked the Tamworth?
I didn't pick the Tamworth. I went to an RSPCA shelter to find a dog, and I ended up coming back. Well, should I say my dad ended up coming back with a pig.
Right.
And I was like, as long as you look after it and make sure that, you know, it's fed and watered, then no problem. My dad sort of grown up with horses, so that's kind of where I guess most of his knowledge comes from. And I think it's quite adaptable. I think once you have animals, you understand a little bit more about how they work, and yes, of course, there are sort of like, you know, small idiosyncrasies that you have to sort of get right with each animal or each breed, but you know, it is reasonably transferable.
I can see some other little piglets down here. Who are these? This sow is Princess. Princess. And these are the eldest of us. I'll say the young bunch. So they're about 5 weeks old now, I think. But, and I sort of hate to say this, having just heard what you said, there is that aspect of farming though, isn't there, where you do have to make money, and if you are bringing on animals, the likelihood is that they do go from farm to fork. Are you is that what's going to happen to your pigs? Yeah, you know, and I don't think there should be anything to be ashamed of with that. You know, I think that is, you know, food is provenance, obviously, and we all need to eat food, and for me, I'd rather know that, you know, my food comes from a farm such as this, where the pigs look great and they're eating well and they're healthy and you know, they're looked after. We've got 9 fallow deer. I have heard that, you know, you wanted to go into deer farming. Is this some of the inspiration behind that thought, having them here?
Absolutely, absolutely. Really early in the morning, they usually come from here, and they'll clear this gate quite easily. They'll jump over this gate, So they'll come in here and they'll be right up close to the house, and I can see them from my bedroom window. And when someone, actually a close friend of mine, mentioned to me that I should think about deer farming, and his family had sort of dabbled in it, I was like, well, I do have wild deer like on my land. And for me, it was a great option at the time because I was busy with JLS, and I could use the land but also not have to be too hands-on. And as you can see, they sort of look after themselves. They've hidden right out of the way because we're here.
And what kind of tips do you think would you give someone who wants to go into the farming and agriculture industry but perhaps doesn't have a farm, or that, you know, their dad doesn't have a farm and they don't have any kind of relative who's got a farm?
Well, I mean, I came into this quite organically. If you've got a passion, maybe you've got a love for animals, or you know, you've been to a farm and you want to try and learn more, understand more, you can always go online. You know, there are always you know, publications and magazines and different ways for you to find out information. I think people maybe don't understand that farming is all-consuming. It's every single day for the whole year. I've got 4 chickens, so I can go meet those now.
How did you go about picking the chickens?
To be honest, I got them from Adam Henson.
Oh, so, I see.
He
all 4 of them?
Not all 4. I had 3 of them from Adam.
There are different types of chickens that you can get. Did you know what they were when you got them? Or?
I didn't. I'm sure he's told me and I've forgotten.
Adam.
But yeah, they give brilliant eggs. I must say.
Great.
Very, very fresh, so no complaints from me.
Have you ever thought about sort of getting a professional qualification?
Absolutely. I think education is key in any industry, whatever it might be, and I'd love to learn more. Obviously you can learn by experience, and with farming obviously it's very tactile, so you have to be on the ground, you have to get involved. I think things like farming are becoming increasingly important in our culture. You know, a lot of people don't know that much about it, but food is such a big thing these days, and people do want to know where their food's coming from, and they do want to eat healthier, and they do want to have better food quality. And I think there's so many different, there's a wealth of opportunities, not necessarily just in farming, but in food in general, the food industry in general. You know, there's so many different things that you can go into, or so many different things that you can learn that can, I suppose, transfer between all the different disciplines.
Well, JB, thank you so much for showing me around. It's been a real pleasure.
Pleasure.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's been great. Thank you very much.
Not at all.